Since August 2019, I've been keeping very close tabs on the progression of one mobile gaming project in particular, Warhammer Odyssey. Long before I moved out to Zimbabwe, I actually used to be a manager of the Games Workshop Hobby Centre in Epsom. I collected numerous different armies, painted them up and took them to the battlefields in many tournaments. In fact, if you scroll down far enough on my Instagram feed, you'll see many pictures of these. Warhammer was always my favourite, and long before the End Times split the realms for the Age of Sigmar, I was leading armies to war across the battlefields of the Warhammer World. I was leading groups of adventurers through the dungeons of Warhammer Quest and the tabletop role-playing game. I was reading as many books from the Black Library as I could get my grubby mitts on. I lived and breathed the Warhammer world, just as I now live and breathe mobile gaming. I've had a little bit of fun dabbling in some of the GW mobile games, like Chaos and Conquest and especially the Warhammer Quest games, but none of these really scratched the itch, though the Warhammer Quest ones did come close, I'll admit. Imagine my absolute delight then when in August Virtual Realms announced that they were working with Games Workshop on a mobile MMO set in the Warhammer world. Yes, the Warhammer world, before the End Times. Now look, don't get me wrong, I adore the Age of Sigmar, but Warhammer World will always have a special place in my heart. Alright, so it wasn't only delight, I was definitely concerned too. Games Workshop, if we're honest, haven't had the best track record with mobile games, and this was one that I felt could be truly special if it was handled well. Well, I've been keeping really close tabs on it, and I will continue to do so as we find out more about the game and move towards the beta, which, of course, I have signed up for. Now, we do already know the 6 classes that are likely to feature in the game at launch. Humans will have warrior priests, which are religious zealots who play as both damage-soaking tanks or as healers using the Blessing of Sigmar. And witch hunters, a DPS class armed with swords, pistols and crossbows to hunt down mutants, cults and witches. High Elves will have access to Archmages, powerful spellcasters that can weave the winds of magic into destructive spells or healing blessings, and the sneaky Shadow Warrior, an expert with swords and bows that can slide through the darkness to strike into the heart of enemy formations. Dwarves then finally round out the roster with Slayers, ginger-haired, death-seeking maniacs who wield axes, either as damage-dealing berserkers or stoic tanks taking the hits for their team, or Engineers, gun-totting women dwarves able to drop various different offensive and defensive turrets for their team. The 6 classes already sound badass, and I cannot decide which I'm likely to play as, though, in honesty, it'll likely be a Witch Hunter or a Slayer mainly, but we'll see. Beyond this, the game, even in pre-alpha, is already looking stunning. The user interface here looks really clean and uncluttered, and the detail already shown in the city of Marienburg is astonishing for a mobile title. And Marienburg itself, well, I feel that's the perfect staging point for a game like this. You see, it's a vibrant trading port on the edge of the Empire, sat right between the impenetrable Drakwold Forest to the south and east, and the immense Rocky Mountains of the Pale Sisters to the southwest. See, told you I knew my stuff. As with most areas of the Empire, Marienburg is plagued by the undead, the beastmen tribes of the forest, and the orcs, goblins and ogres of the mountains. Within the city itself, though, cults to the dark chaos gods practice unspeakable rites behind locked doors down dark alleys, and below the city lurks the ever-present danger of the rat-like Skaven and their vast under-empire. Honestly, the Skaven have always been one of my favourite things about the Warhammer world, and I cannot wait to see how these guys appear in the game. Like, seriously, that gets me more excited than words can express. If it wasn't clear already, though, I will be updating this channel with every drib and drab of information we can get on the game. When the beta launches, I will be showcasing everything and anything that I can. Nothing in mobile gaming history has gotten me quite as excited as Warhammer Odyssey has, and I do look forward to sharing it all with you folks. But what about you folks? Have you been watching Warhammer Odyssey? Do you play any of the Games Workshop products? Have you played Warhammer in the past? Do you know the intellectual property in the world? Is this something that you're excited for? What are your worries about it? Which class sounds coolest to you? Let me know in the comment section down below, or come find me on your favoured social media of choice. Anyway folks, happy sailing, and I'll see you in Marienburg very soon.